Hello everyone, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Malika. You can call me Salsa. I'm a graduate teacher student at State University of Surabaya. So right now we're going to be talking about Pancasila as a paradigm of the building of a country. So here the subject of Pancasila education on our meeting 12. The definition of Buddhism, at first it was just used as a philosophy of knowledge based on Thomas Kuhn. The first people who realization of that definition was explained that knowledge on the development of time will be dominated by the Buddhism. That Buddhism is a kind of basic kind of way that every scientific knows about the basic of difficulties on every kind the aspect of knowledge. This kind of definition of origin in the development of time is developing not just on the ethnic ways but on the other fields. For example, like politics, law, social, and economy. The Buddhism, and then after that, would have a developed about their definition as a kind of way to act, as a kind of will to equal, as a purpose, as a measure, as a parameter, as a purpose, which is it have been used. This paradigm is a it means that it is the important thing of our event. So that's why this paradigm is always being the highest stairs that really quite important to do on every aspect of your life. This Pancasila as a paradigm, it means that every point in Pancasila on normative ways that it would be as a purpose, as a measure of as a parameter on every aspect to human life and every national protein, national reconstruction, which is um, having that through our country, which is Indonesia. This kind of way is it as a conservation, as a consequences, as a recognizing and every accepting for every country of Indonesia, which is means that Pancasila is a based on our country as a fundamental aspect of our country and our national identity. This way is a relate with our objective fact that means that Pancasila is a kind of fundamental aspect of Indonesia, but this kind in the country is every organization of every security of human life are not more. If the Pancasila is as a fundamental or as a measure of every rule of the country about the reconstruction of a country. This kind of point in the Pancasila will be developing as an archaic of humanity. The archaic of humanity based on Pancasila is a kind of monopolarist stuff. The Malaysia contract that monopolarist is have a characteristic. And here we go. The characteristic every rule of a human contract there is always soul and body. And every contract of humanity as an individual and also as a social aspect. The state of human life is as a individual people and also as a God people. Based on that, the national reconstruction is proposed with as a way to increase every authority of humanity, which is always there is a soul, there is body, there is individual, there is social and good aspect. And shortly, this national reconstruction is as a kind of way to increase the humanity with totality. The social construction needs to be developing the authority of humanity with the entire of it. So that's why the reconstruction would be having in every aspect of life, which is the reporting that includes the politics, economy, social, and culture, and safeness. The Pancasila is also being the paradigm of in the politics, economy, social, culture, and safeness of the country. The A point, Pancasila as a paradigm in politics reconstruction. The human Indonesian people as a people of a country need to be placed as a subject or also being the member of politics, not just in politics object. Pancasila will also be a measure of human behavior through politic reconstruction. So that's why it could increase the authority of humanity. The politics system of Indonesia is always related to Pancasila, which is this paradigm, is politics system of democracy is not just authoritarian. Based on that, this politic Indonesian system needs to be developed based on the people as is, which is always related to the point, one of the point of Pancasila, which is number 4 of Sila. Point number 4. And then the next developing ways that kind of politics system would be ruled as a above every moral aspect throughout the Pancasila. So that's why that every single point of politics system of Indonesia will be developed by God morality, by human morality, and the unity and people and justice. So that's why, as a member of politics, even they were as a people country, they have to rule that country based on that more developed. So that's why we could have a result as a politic behavior that with morality and politeness. The Pancasila as a paradigm which developed the politics and social, it means that Pancasila was have a characteristic that social politics of a country would have a purpose. We would have together purpose that one to be realized with using the every point of Pancasila. And here is the implementation of based for our understanding. Here is the implementation of the social justice. It includes the politic justice, the culture, the religion, and the economy of every human life. And number 2, here is the take it important of every people every people needs, or it knows in Indonesia as a democracy, which is means on every taking some decision. And then number 3, there is social justice is and the priority choice of a people. It's based on the concept of take care of the unity, take care of unity of that country. And then number 4, there is purpose of the justice is using a humanity which is always being justice and politely. And no, why not? This kind of point of social justice, democracy, unity, and humanity, or in Indonesia is known as Keadilan and Kehidupam. It was researches from God point. In this globalization era, this information just like this implementation needs a reconstruction as a realization of civil society, which is always includes the traditional people from every ethnic, from every religion, from every aspect. And there is also industrial people, and there's also industrial Purna people, which is mean that the point of politics social being the morality, new morality for for the information people. So for example, like toleration, tolerated point, and the transgression of law and every institution of a country, and there is commitment, which is means that it always related with the word. We continue on our word, and the next is morality based on consensus, said by Fukuyama Tanam Astrid on 2000, page 3. And then point B, we're going to talk about the Pancasila as a paradigm of economical reconstruction. Based on Pancasila paradigm as a economical reconstruction, so that's why the system is always based on morality with Pancasila. So automatically, this kind of economical stuff, it always needs to being fundamental based on morality, gut morality. It related on the first point of Pancasila, which is Ketuhanan Yang Maha Esa, and it is also related to second point of Pancasila, which is kemanusiaan yang adil dan beradab. This kind of economic stuff, which is based on the morality and humanity, would result in the economical system, which is always based on humanity, and this kind of economic stuff would recognize of every aggregate of humanity, even it is for individual or social or as a freely or as a God, God itself. So that's why this economical system that based on Pancasila is quickly different from liberal economical system, which is just give the opportunity for every individual without realizing the other authority. So that's why this kind of economical system, it also pretty different from economy with social system, which is not recognizing every individual minds. So that's why Pancasila is different with human as a totality and human as a subject. So that's why this kind of economy needs to be developed as a system and economic reconstruction as with the purpose. So with the purpose to a better life for every people in that country. And this economical system would be based on Pancasila, which is based on Pancasila, that this kind of economical system of people, it's based on togetherness of family, as a family. This economical system of Indonesia, it's also related to human morality point. This kind of economical reconstruction need to be avoid every kind of free practice, every monopoly, and every kind of that stuff that would be have an effect about the justice, about super, about the people of our country. And then the Pancasila's paradigm is it economical development, which is always based on number 4 point of Pancasila. Furthermore, the development of economy needs always being focused on this construction of economical system of Indonesia. So that's why this kind of title is always to this reconstruction of economical people or economical democration economical. Or it also this construction of economical system of Indonesia. This kind, the people economical, the politic, or the every role of economy need to be fulfilled for the happiness of the people of the country. So that's why it has to be realizing the national realizing the national economical, which is always being a justice for every people on the country. It's not like the new order that will always recognize the people with good economical or it known Indonesia as a conglomerate people. The economic people of politics would always give a kind of room, kind of chance, kind of support for every economical development for every people that always includes the cooperation of the many business and there's always a kind of way to give middle as a fundamental aspect of reconstruction of national economic. So that's why that kind of economical it's ruled by as a kind the togetherness with a family accession. So that's why it's known as cooperation. Inside the people economical, the country, the democratic country have a role to give or give a recognition for every role that have a characteristic to protect for every country and increase the implementation of the law. And then point C, it is about Pancasila as a reconstruction paradigm on social culture. Pancasila at first is having characteristic of humanistic, so because that Pancasila comes from authority of the human itself. So that's why it comes from the Pancasila point, number second Pancasila point, kemanusiaan mengalir dan beradab. So furthermore, this kind of social cultural reconstruction need to be have a role to increase the authority of that people. So that's why that people, it could be a people who with culture and politeness. And this kind of social culture reconstruction, it's always have a result of a kind of people with so cruel, brutal, and anarchic, which is it's also different from the purpose of Indonesia, which is being to justice and polite. The people is not enough as a physical people, as a physical human, but it also could increase the authority of the humanity. The human needs to be developed himself or herself on the human stuff as a human. It needs to be recognized and it needs to be reviewed based on the culture and the social aspect to every kind of aspect to human life of Indonesia. So that's why they could be acceptable and as a people of that country. So that's why the reconstruction of social culture, it's not giving discrimination and not giving no justice. This new paradigm is also related to national reconstruction, which is through the paradigm of the reconstruction of the step-up reconstruction, which is on that line and on that using the way it needs to be give respect to other community of culture which is included. So furthermore, besides on the authority of a country to give a rule through every aspect of human life and individual aspect of human life, so it could be balanced based on the second point of Pancasila, which is kemanusiaan yang adil dan beradab, with justice, we highlight. So that's why the community culture authority could be relation between the authority of a country and the authority of an individual. This kind of paradigm could resolve the system plan, which is centralistic and which is known this kind of problem of the people in that country. So that's why this autonomical era for every field of a country, it's not purpose with the country autonomy, but it also united every reconstruction of a field of the country with the regional reconstruction of the national reconstruction, which is its input from the four point of Pancasila. So that's why they will always secure every balancing and every similarity, which is included with in a 5 point of Pancasila, which is keadilan sosial bagi seluruh masyarakat Indonesia. And on that event, it also gives strength to our unity of a country with, so it could be it could be like a fundamental aspect to the our country NKRI. So it also has implementation of the number third point of Pancasila, which is Persatuan Indonesia. So if we see that this kind of point of Pancasila, it's always fulfill the criteria that every kind of high stairs of culture as a purpose togetherness, as a culture of every field of a country. First, the first point of Pancasila, it shows that not every single of country or from every aspect to the social field and community that based on Indonesia, it's not known as it's not believed with the card. The second one is a kind of cultural point that always being put on high stairs for every kind of people in the country without given different through the people, through the kind of field and through the kind of place. And then the number third point of Pancasila, it means that every cultural aspect will be the purpose of a people, of a much people on the Nusantara island to give a unity of itself to as a one country as a one country. And the number four, the point of Pancasila number 4 is being the cultural aspect which always have a large authority on that kind of majmuk people of Indonesia, which is there's always a stillness to the musyawarah, or through the meeting, if it's on English. This kind of point of Pancasila would always being relevant aspect to control every cultural aspect, which is always using as a individual aspect. Number 5 point of Pancasila, that's why this kind of social justice would be always being a fundamental aspect that could give a support through human life, which is always due to the happiness of a general people and to give knowledge to every people, and it also to follow every rule of the world which is based on freely and forever peace and social justice. And then point of D, that Pancasila as a paradigm of a law reconstruction. One of the purpose of Indonesia is to protect for every people in that country of Indonesia, and for every drop blood of Indonesian people. So that's why it includes the meaning that every job and responsibility is not just for the country aspect, but it's also the Indonesian people for the entire itself. So that's why on that basic stuff, this kind of safety aspect is to follow that every component of a country, this kind of safeness of a construction system, it is also known as a system with Sistem Kamrata Indonesia, or Sistem Pertahanan dan Keamanan Rakyat Semesta. In this system, this kind of safetyness, which is having characteristic of Semesta Indonesia, it always includes for every people, for every field, for every kind of national aspect knowledge. And so that's why it is also prepared it is also prepared at first from every government to do it with totality and with the purpose, and every step by step to do the fundamental aspect of the country and the completeness of a field of a country and every safetyness for every people on the country from every regions. And so that's why this kind of rule to safety net system, it is always based on the understanding of every authority and every duty as a people of a country. And it also based on the realization from our power, our inner power. So that's why this kind of system, it's always related to Pancasila aspect, which is there is in government, there is people of individual, there's always authority and duty that always having similarity with the problem of a safetyness of a country, or it is known Indonesia as a bela negara. Pancasila is also as a paradigm is also acceptable from Indonesian people based on the Undang-Undang Number 3, 2020 about the country safetyness, about the secureness of the country. On that Undang-Undang, it is known that every safetyness of a country, it's always based on the measure of a philosophy, and also it is based on the generality of Indonesia to secure the fundamental aspect of that country, which is always based on the Pancasila and UUD 1945. Based on the UUD, our country always have a constitution which is on that way. There is always three kind of material subject on the constitution. At first, here I give you, there is always secureness about harm of every people in that country. And then number second, there is always kind of plan step by step about the country of rule of a based country rules. And then number three, there is a kind of divide will be divided, or there's a border about the job of a government, which is being in the fundamental aspect. So it is also related to ROD 1945, and which is it also includes the Pancasila aspect inside within. And then the first page of UUD 1945, there's always part of UUD, which is always being a part of positive law. On that kind of stairs, there is also includes every positive and negative impact. So one of the positive impact that Pancasila would always do, would always done by a country. And about the negative side, there's the beginning side of a country could change by MPR Indonesia, and it also related on the pasal number 27 on our UD 100 on our UD 1945, which is under written law. For example, it's like UUD, and it's changing. It also UU and every kind of written law others in Indonesia. It needs to be based on our fundamental aspect of our country. For example, it's like our Pancasila as a fundamental aspect. It is related to Pancasila as a paradigm of about the development of law. The law, even it is written or not, it is also put, cannot and don't want to face from every kind of point of Pancasila, which is first there is every God, and the number second there is a humanity with justice and politely. And the number three, there is the unity of Indonesia. And the number four, there is people who could lead with justice through every kind of way. And the number five, there is kind of social justice for every people of Indonesia. So that's why this kind of law substantial need to be developed, and it also as recognized it as a realization, as an implementation of every point in the Pancasila. So it means that every substantial product of law, it is also the character of a responsive law of a product. So it is also have a purpose for every people in that country, and as a kind of realization of people aspiration. The eighth point, that Pancasila as a paradigm of reconstruction of Philippine people. Indonesia peoples in ancient time is a kind of country that so kind and polite. So that's what the concept of it would be classes for every characterization through our country in the international world. Indonesia is a kind of country is a very well known with our national motto, Bhinneka Tunggal Ika. So Bhinneka in plural. Indonesia, it also comes from every kind of match, from any kind of ethnic, and from every kind of language, and from every kind of religion. But we could also work together to get and to fulfill our freely, or in Indonesia is known as kemerdekaan of our country. But it also in nowadays our kindness would be more questionable by every kind of way, because there is some case about the cruelty, but it is also based on religion aspect. So when we talk about this one, Indonesia, it is almost everything is includes the Muslim people. So that's why the majority of Indonesian people is Islam. So the Muslim Indonesia would always having several ways that um, that's not plannable. So that's why that everything that's done by Muslim people based on non-Muslim, they will like feel like having wrong interpretation through Muslim people. So the paradigm of toleration through the religion of every people is built as a business for every kind the people in that country with perspective of the rule of Medina, which is means the first every Islam people, which is not more or is not just community, it is known as Umatan Wahidah. And then the second is the relation through our member of Muslim community or in a Islam community. It is based on the principle first, one of our Muslim, one of the other Muslim, it is related. They were being like sister and brother. They would always helping and would always protect our Muslim people from every threats together. We would always protect to those who doesn't have any strength or to those who get cruelty, and we could as a Muslim people we could realize to other people in a good ways that we could always remember the good one. And then the last is we are respect every authority of religion. That kind of principle, that kind of five principle, it's so that first the similarity to the authority and duty based on every aspect of a country without discrimination based on religion or every aspect of field. The number second is we could increase the supportness of our relation, and we could come having consultation to one another to resolve our problem together, and we could always helping every kind of enemy together. Inside the interpretation and analysis of sociologies from religion based on Ronaldo Peterson, it shows that every kind of relation through the religion and politics, it comes from every problem. So that's why it's just on the every country who get heterogeneity through that country. So that why it's based on the postulate that say that homogeneity of a country is always being a condition of a politic balancing. So that's why this kind of religion, which is it is maybe it is having backward way of if a talk in a talk about the highest stairs or with nouns as ultimate value inside of the politic arena. So that's why this kind of problem would be more far from the result, or in other words, it far from the company. In the kind of plan that every people of Indonesia that's shown is having characteristic that we always found a way that every people in the country were trying to having peace to our people. So the new institution of social development of our country, for example, like PELA in our Maluku and Mapalus in our Sulawesi Utara, and or Rumah Bentang in Kalimantan Tengah and Marga in Tapanuli, Sumatera Utara, it is also proving that every peacefulness through human life of religion on people. In the future, as a kind of way to increasing the fundamental aspect to have a peace to religion people in Indonesia, it is having is a mind. So it needs to be taking some dialect, horizontal dialect and vertical dialect. Horizontal dialect is the kind of interaction through human life, which is based on dialogue to having every um, having every understanding and recognizing for people existence, and it also the horizontal dialogue is like a kind of introduction to human life, which is based on the dialogue to gain some understanding and recognizing to the human existence. And it also could be recognizing to human kind, human life of characteristic, which is indeterminate and independent. And the indeterminate identity is a kind of characteristic that every human life that show that every kind of state of human is based on that humanity. So it means that the the position of a human is not as a kind of stuff, the mechanical stuff, which is means that it is as a people who have a who have a knowledge, who have a creativity, and have a culture. The second point about implementation of Pancasila through the paradigm of college life. So it is kind of implementation or a kind of study case. I think the Pancasila implementation as a in a paradigm college life is like, for example, for several example, is like Pancasila paradigm above every college life. It's not quite different from kind of country aspect. So that's why this kind of college is need to be being ruled by every country aspect. For example, it's like political, economical, cultural, and law, and every kind of people with religion. And so that's why to reach that purpose of to our life in our country. So that's why as a kind of individual aspect of our country, as a people of God, acknowledge with technology or it's known in Indonesia as a ilmu pengetahuan and technology or IPTEC. Archaic, it also as a kind of creativity result from the inside of humanity. So that's why the soul of a human, it also includes the knowledge, the food, and it also the nature. So that's why as a college students who have an intellectual aspect, who have a biggest intellectual aspect, we could using that with every college facility to having every purpose together. So that's why the every builder is a kind of realization praxis to our college to gain every purpose from every kind of students, every college students to based on the human law as a subject, as a member of subject, and also as a purpose of reconstruction. So that's why the humanity law is as a kind of researchers is a kind of important researchers for every. So that's why the human life is a kind of resources, the important resources by every reconstruction on the kind of campus, on the kind of college itself. So I think that is my presentation today. And if maybe for this one of you there's any question, please don't be hesitate to contact me as well. And I would love to give it as feedback, and I will please thank for your kind attention. And I'm sorry if there's any mistakes in my word. And wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So that was my presentation today. And if there's any question, please don't be hesitate to contact me as well. And I would love to give it as feedback. And here, I'm so sorry if there's any mistakes in my word. And here, I'm very thankful, and I'm also very thankful for your kind attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.